It feels like beyond parody doesn't describe it accurately anymore.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that they haven't heard the Beyond parody on the soundboard recently, and that's probably fitting for the times, and I couldn't agree more.
It's just like there's parody, making a mockery of real life, but then there's beyond parody, and now we're at beyond parody.
Precisely. We're post-parody.
We're post-parody. Like there is nothing is real, nothing is true anymore. Everything that is happening now, I would have thought would have been a bad joke about what was happening before. I don't know what to do with myself.
Exactly. No, Beyond parody used to be Jesse Wooders talking about gay nutcrackers at Target and Matt Walsh going around saying it's gay to get your girlfriend a Valentine's gift on time. Mm-hmm. Now, in the post-parody world, we have to talk about how Trump and the rest of his administration are taking valuable time away from, the presidency and the responsibilities of that to do an Antifa roundtable with Jack Posobiec and other conservative influencers.
An Antifa roundtable.
What does that mean?
An Antifa roundtable is like something that a bad satirist would have done to make fun of Trump in 2020.
Exactly.
But now it's a real thing that the president is doing earnestly.
That should be an SNL skit, and that's it.
Like Antifa roundtable, what are we talking about? Like obviously there's a deeper, more sinister crackdown on free speech that's happening right now through violence conducted by various different agencies within the government, and that's bad. But just focusing on the surface level, what the fuck are we talking about? Antifa roundtable. It's absurd,
God,
man.
I know. And Antifa doesn't, it's not like a thing.
It's
like
not
they
real.
think it's a thing. And nobody was even talking about Antifa until, again, recently when Trump brought it up because Fox News showed him footage of 2020 Portland. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden we got to make this huge thing. We got to do this huge fucking crackdown. There was a moment during this Antifa roundtable. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw some clips where some journalist, quote unquote, goes and asks Trump about whether or not Antifa should be designated a foreign terrorist organization. And Trump goes, oh yeah, we've been thinking about that. Actually, guys, you think we should do that? And he starts looking around. He goes, Steven, what do you think we should do that? And Stephen Miller gets up and he goes, yeah, I think that's really good. And Trump's like, okay, it's done. We should go do that then. For reasons we'll get into later in the show, it's abundantly clear that this guy Trump doesn't know what's going on. Trump is Joe Biden, and Trump is being led around by his advisors and pushed into certain positions.
Trump
and doing
is
things.
Joe Biden, exactly. But they've been saying for years that the headquarters of Portland, the headquarters of Antifa is in Portland.
Yeah, well, headquarters of Portland's Antifa because really it's the whole state.
Well, precisely. Yeah. But how could it be a foreign terrorist organization if it's here?
I don't know. What do they do? Do they think Hamas is giving money to Antifa to be anti-Israel?
Yeah, no. They think the left is far more organized than the left ever has been in all of human history. It's just not true that Antifa's not an organization. At most, it's an ideological strain that multiple people in multiple places adhere to, but for the most part it's not a thing.
Yeah, once again, the left can't even pick a place and a time to coordinate a protest.
Yeah,
and you expect me to think this is a multinational organization that's going around and coordinating professional rioters and protesters to go outside the ICE facility in Portland and Chicago,
funded by George Soros?
That is just not something that a reasonable person thinks, and frankly I don't think most reasonable people do think that. ICE approval is in the shitter already.
Yeah.
People do not like what's happening in Chicago. We'll talk about it a little bit later. People do not like the mass deportation effort, except for the minority of people who just rock with brutality as much as they can.
White suburbanites,
white supremacists, you know how it goes,
yeah.
Who absolutely love what's going on. For the rest of us that are living in reality, Antifa's not something that's crossing their mind.
No.
Even when Antifa was a hot topic in 2020, it wasn't crossing most people's mind.
No, and another just insane, again, this isn't this can't be, you can't do satire of this administration anymore because there's a thing that Kristi Noem said. She said a bunch of different things, comparing Antifa to Hamas and Hezbollah and ISIS and shit like that. Absolutely insane. But the one thing that got me, again, just surface level analysis, because this is going any deeper, it's just well, yeah, that's bad. But Kristi Noem said that ICE or DHS or some agency arrested the girlfriend of one of the founders of Antifa. What the fuck are we talking about?
What does that even mean, and why would that matter?
Why does it matter? And they just lie. They just make shit up to advance their agenda of literally doing political violence to civilian populations. It's so beyond parody. It is so beyond satire. I don't even know what to say about it.
Because it's hilarious that they can't even make up we arrested one of the Antifa ringleaders. No, we arrested the girlfriend of an Antifa ringleader. they can't even make up a believable story. They can't even come up with something that sounds good. They are just throwing stuff out there and seeing what sticks, and they will say whatever, whenever, shamelessly.
Kristi Noem in a mask and with a hat on is going to show up on Jesse Waters on Jesse Waters tomorrow night, and they're going to say that that's the girlfriend of Antifa. Antifa girlfriend, man. What are we talking about? It's so fundamentally absurd. I don't know how anybody falls for this. And there is a portion of the country that falls for this.
This is true. And there are people that are taking this seriously. And that's crazy. Either Kristi Noem or Pam Bondi also said there that Antifa is like Hamas, is as dangerous as Hamas and Hezbollah, and they operate as complicated as like MS-13 does.
Yeah.
Oh, Antifa's trafficking fentanyl now? Is that the lie you're going to try to tell me?
And Pam Bondi said that Antifa should be treated like how we've been treating the cartels in Venezuela.
Essentially,
we should just kill them, right? Like, even if Antifa was a real organized political organization in this country, you can't just kill civilians. And it feels stupid to be like, oh, they can't do that. But it's like, that is like one of the few things that you can't do. Like, you can't just kill people, man.
This is just like the year of me feeling like an idiot thinking, they can't do that. Yeah. They can't do that.
Like, I don't think we're that far off from just getting like move bombing too. Yeah. Except in this instance, it's not like there's going to be like no lead up to it. It's just going to happen. Because like with the move bombing, there was a standoff with police in Philadelphia for a while, and then they dropped a bomb on a civilian neighborhood. But it's just going to like happen one day in Portland, and nobody's going to know why. And they're going to be like, oh, well, they were using human shields, but we got a bunch of TDA members in Antifa.
Exactly. They were trained by IDF spokespeople to go and figure out how to get themselves out of this situation. Insane.
Unthinkable, man.
Unthinkable, man. But who fucking knows? They can't do this. They can't do this. It feels so stupid saying this, but in another astonishing, like, they can't do this moment from the Antifa Roundtable, Trump said, he said, we took away free speech. It's not... He said, we took away free speech. You can't burn the American flag anymore. When you burn an American flag, it gets the crowd riled up, and then they go and do a riot.
Man, where's the book about Trump being too old?
No, literally, man. Like, it's crazy. And it's like, you just, come on, man. I think he thinks that signing the executive order about flag burning actually like makes it a law that you can't burn the American flag anymore. Because another person that they had at this Antifa roundtable was some like conservative quote unquote journalist who was at the Portland protests and stopped somebody from burning an American flag. They invited him out there, and Trump acknowledged, he goes, yeah, you're famous for it now. These people just want to be fucking famous. They want to be famous, stupid, and they want to go say we took away free speech, and it's like, they are, though.
Yeah. No, like objectively, flag burning is like a form of free speech. That's not even speculation.
That's
like, that's just
Supreme
true.
Court precedent.
Yeah, no, it's just true. But yeah, I think you're right. I think when he signs an executive order, he thinks that like this is actually happening.
Well, it's because Stephen Miller goes and tells him he has plenary authority or whatever the fuck, and then he's like, yeah, I can go do that, and then he does.
Man, the plenary authority thing on fucking CNN. That was I don't give many flowers to Stephen Miller, but committing to the bit of my shit disconnected, that's hilarious.
No, that's ballsy. It's incredibly ballsy to say something
high risk
you shouldn't have said and then just stop on a live broadcast.
High risk, and it worked. Like, he tricked the CNN anchor in that moment. Gotta give it to him on that one, man.
What do you do as a CNN anchor? Imagine we're doing a live interview with somebody and it's live streamed or on Twitch or YouTube or whatever, and all of a sudden they just go, oh.
Yeah.
Do you call them out? I don't know.
I can still see you blinking. You're still moving. Like, there's nothing cut out.
Like, what's going on? I'm concerned for your health.
Yeah. It seemed like they had some kind of policy or something. Like the Trump administration is like, if we ever say anything crazy, we're going to stop talking and unplug the computer. Behind the scenes, unplug the computer. It seems like that's what they did.
No, absolutely. And, oh my God, man. I'm going into a tunnel. Sorry, I can't hear you.
You literally pulled that one, man. It's like, it's all so beyond parody, and I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, living in a post-parody world isn't fun, and I don't like it. I do miss the time where we could get on the show and we could clown Matt Walsh for saying it's gay to get your girlfriend a Valentine's Day present. Mm-hmm. It's gay to buy your girlfriend flowers, fellas.
Or we could find like an insane local story and be like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, guys, look at this. Like, but now it's like, oh, ICE is brutalizing people every day.
Yeah, instead of, oh, look at local bar in Iowa declared July straight Pride Month. Yeah. It's, oh, look at local bar in Iowa was raided and all the kitchen staff were taken away.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man.
Incredibly depressing. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Welcome back. Is it a warm welcome? I don't know.
No,
I don't know
it
anymore.
just can't be at this point. But you're back. You're listening to Head in the Office. It's Thursday, October 9th. We're back recording another episode for you. Today we're talking about ICE in Chicago. Still, things are not good.
Still,
government shutdown. Still, we got a Michigan story to talk about.
Yeah.
Concerning some candidates maybe finding courage, but maybe not. It's nuanced.
Who knows? Let's dissect it and do some analysis.
And then
some journalism. Everybody's a fucking journalist now.
Everyone's a fucking journalist. And then a brief aside on maybe what's going on with the deal between Israel and Hamas, but who fucking knows?
Yeah, it's literally happening as we're recording. What are you going to do about it? It's you don't beat the cycle, you don't lose to the news cycle. You're just in purgatory with the news cycle. Mm-hmm. I didn't think we'd be here, but here we are.
I'm a prisoner of the news cycle.
I know.
But before we get into the show today, I'll remind you all that if you want early access to all of our content, it's over on Patreon. Look, you all, surely you fuck with independent media.
Exactly.
I mean, you're here. This is not mainstream media. We are not funded by the corporate elite.
Who knows? Every day we get closer and closer to being hit with the RICO.
Exactly.
We might have to start paying for legal fees.
Yeah, we might have to start a HITO legal defense fund.
Yeah.
So before we have to do that, before we have to fucking prepare for a crackdown on left-wing political commentators, consider becoming a patron and supporting your two favorite quorked up white boys talking about politics.
First they came for Hassan and I didn't say anything because it eased downward pressure on the industry. And then they came for me, and that's what was bad.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going to speak out when they take out left-wing commentators, because it's like, low-key, I have a bigger market share to take up.
But then I would need legal defense funds for when they eventually come for me. Yeah.
So consider becoming a patron, too, so we can avoid that entire debacle. All the other links are in the description if you want to support HITO. Also, another reminder that we have an event coming up.
We do have an event coming up. It's a pretty spectacular event coming up, I might add you, at Wayne State University, the Sociological Conference. We're going to be doing a little presentation. It's going to be an hour little thing talking about fear and politics with the Q&A afterwards. It'll be pretty cool. It's $35 to get in.
Yeah.
So not too shabby to attend a conference and become a member of the association for at least a year.
Whole year.
That's pretty cool. And see the boys.
Yeah, and we'll stick around a little bit afterwards as well, so we can chop it up.
Exactly.
Chop it up in an informal setting.
I believe our presentation goes right up until lunchtime.
Yeah.
So we'll get to have lunch with HITO heads?
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
So that event is down there in the description. Check it out. October 18th, our presentation's at 10 a.m.
And unlike our library series, this will be like actual political content.
Oh, yeah.
Not just how to start a podcast.
We're doing
in case that
political
entices
commentary.
you to come out a little more.
So that is next Saturday. Check it out. Link is in the description. But now it's time to read our reviews.
Yes.
We got a bunch of reviews to read. We're going to read both the Apple and Spotify ones here at the front of the show. This first one on Apple from Small Kale Chip, A Guiding Light. I was driving through the national parks, which were unfortunately unmonitored due to the shutdown this weekend, with my boyfriend and reading him the National Security Memo, NSPM 7 compliant podcast.
Yes, sir.
When we realized we are anti-capitalist, anti-Christian, at least as it's used as a scapegoat for bigotry by the right, and dare I say, anti-fascist people. And it was making me mad.
Not me. X, condemn.
Yeah, I'm anti-fascist. Make of that what you will,
Yep.
of course. I didn't know what to do with this anger. Then HITO reminded me that I should continue to condemn all forms of political violence. Thank goodness I have these two quirked up white boys to guide my moral code, just like Pete Hegseth guides the BMI and facial hair of the United States military.
And see, in a post NSPM 7 world, this is the model review. This truly is the model review. You used to be all of these things that the administration no longer fucks with. You listen to the podcast, and now you aren't.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a relatively new listener, but love the pod. It's the only one that is always right about good things being good and Kamala Harris's book being bad. Keep up the good work while we all can.
I think our Kamala Harris book review is like our second most listened to episode now.
Yeah, y'all fucked with it, especially on YouTube.
That is genuinely like heartening to see. You all coming out to support us doing a little quirky little side quest.
You never know if when we do something that sort of deviates from the niche, if it'll flop or do well.
Yeah, we've learned so far this year that y'all hate when we do interviews and love when we read book.
Yeah, we do have interviews coming up, so
so prepare for that.
Don't be too mad. Not for a little while though.
Exactly, but this next review, my number one favorite podcast from El Rain. I'm so grateful for the HITO boys keeping me grounded and laughing in these dark times, while of course continuing to condemn Hamas and all political violence. You've become a beacon of light to me as a leftist stuck in MAGA-heavy rural Georgia.
Hell yeah.
Lovely.
Hell yeah. Spotify review here from Jared, 5-star review. Patreon bourgeoisie here, listening to HITO since the fall of 23, and I instantly appreciated finding two eloquent, principled, educated, and genuinely cool dudes of my own Gen Z age range giving news and thoughtful analysis of the dystopian world we now inhabit. You guys give me hope. I wish we were IRL friends. Show up to the event. You may be surprised to know that you have a DOW soldier as a HITO head.
Hell yeah.
What's DOW?
Department of War.
Oh, the fuck?
Department of War, baby.
See, I'm stuck on DOD still. I completely forgot. Funnily, I found your podcast by accidentally typing H in Spotify and saw HITO pop up.
That's divine intervention.
It is.
That's divine intervention right there. What can I say, man? This next review by Simon Clark. Perfect show, 5 stars. To begin with, I condemn all political violence and especially Hamas to keep my favorite fellow Midwestern white boy tertiary news source safe. As a poli-sci master student at Nebraska, 38-27 final over MSU, by the way. Shut the fuck up, go Big Red. I have to be more careful with what I say and where, so it's always fun to listen to my very real non-parasocial friends. Love you fellas, 50 out of 5 stars.
Real. Next one from Harry Davies. First off, let me condemn Hamas political violence, feckless liberals, and being a part of the UK from sunny Scotland.
Real.
Discovered you boys on TikTok. Rip. Not quite yet.
True.
And then started listening to whole episodes. I am now a proud HITO head, and my girlfriend will receive the HITO gospel whether she likes it or not.
Let's go.
She's a progressive, just more of a reader than a podcast listener. Also, I firmly thank you for your service for reading Kamala's book. 107 out of 5 stars. One for every day of Kamala's useless campaign. being Scottish, or I assume you're Scottish, being living in Scotland right now, fucking hating on Kamala Harris. What a trip.
What a trip, honestly. But entirely valid.
Yeah.
I think more people do so that she doesn't run in 2028.
Yeah. Unfortunately, from Scotland, you don't have much control over that, but shout out anyway.
It would be so crazy if she ran in 2028.
The sentiment empowers me.
It does. It does. It emboldens me. And once again, just another another star on the assignment of us doing the Kamala Harris book review.
Yeah. But she will run in 2028. I'm pretty sure of it.
And that's going to be crazy because unfortunately, Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker have so much more sauce right now. Like, they're the people that might get perp walked by the administration.
Yeah, but like, hopefully not Gavin Newsom, though.
Not Gavin Newsom, no. But J.B. Pritzker's getting that. More on that later. This last review from Ryan, 5 stars. Before I start, I have to say that I, of course, condemn Hamas and all acts of political violence. I work for a federal contractor, and it's wild to see how many of my colleagues voted against their own source of income.
Yep.
I wish I could turn them all to HITO heads, but I know they'd be as receptive to the show as Kamala Harris is to criticism. I wish you boys did shows daily, because on days with no episodes, I'm just as lost as an ICE agent looking for a bathroom in Chicago.
Real. With that out of the way, though, let's get into the news.
Yes, time to talk about Chirac.
Time
the
to talk
American
about
war
Chicago.
zone. It's going down for real.
Yeah, we got ICE actively inciting violence.
Yeah,
purposefully for no goddamn reason, and it's bad, folks.
It really does suck. It still baffles me that they can get away with just completely covering their faces and being anonymous. I don't get it. It's not even I think these people need to be named and blah, 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 and we need to know who they are, but it's just weird.
Yeah.
It is weird that people can walk around as agents of the state and just not be held to account for the things that they're doing.
Yeah, no, it grants anonymity.
Exactly. And it's not it's that anonymity emboldens them to do things that they wouldn't otherwise do if they weren't anonymous. I'm not saying go find dox an ICE agent.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is an NSPM 7 compliant podcast.
Of course.
But it seems like a dangerous precedent to set that law enforcement can walk around basically with impunity.
Well, it's cops don't do this.
Exactly. We make cops identify themselves, name and badge number.
Yeah, name and badge number. They don't wear masks, at least as far as I know. Most of the time, they're not wearing masks. And a cop can get doxxed, but for the most part, I don't know that that's an epidemic. But one might wonder why. One might wonder what ICE agents are doing to warrant such a reaction from people. Do you know what I mean?
And it's also harder to hold individual bad. I think ICE is a bad actor as an organization right now under this administration. Flawed. But even individuals within ICE who go that extra mile and become evil actors, abhorrent actors, even by this administration standards, how do you hold them to account when everybody is anonymous?
Yeah.
When you can't figure out what agent did what so that you can, sue them.
Yeah, it makes me think that maybe they don't really care if they're held accountable. It seems like they hired as many people as possible just to go terrorize these blue cities that they want to take advantage of.
It's almost like they just wanted bodies that they could use as force against brown people.
Yeah. That
that's all that matters.
I mean, they cut training for a reason, right? Like, not like ICE was getting robust training in the first place, was being taught how to de-escalate or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how we're starting to compare cops to ICE in the sense that ICE isn't as trained as cops, a group who nobody thought was trained enough until now, apparently.
Yeah, like if you're a longtime listener of HITO, you know that we're not like fans of police officers. You know what I mean? Like we have talked many times about insane instances of police brutality and the ways in which policing works in America. But they look good compared to ICE, and that's bad.
I was gonna say, and like anybody can just go and like be a cop, and even more than anybody can just go and be an ICE agent.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna make less barriers to entry to becoming an ICE agent and having like being responsible for doing more violence than like a cop? Because at least like I don't know, cops like do traffic stop. Or something. I don't know. Like,
yeah, no, it's
cops aren't like only doing awful things.
Yeah, it's like I just don't know what anybody else expected. Like this has always been what ICE is, but now it's just on steroids because we've put billions and billions more behind it than we did before.
Yeah,
and that's scary.
Yeah, and you go to these interviews, and these are people who are like, yeah, I want to fucking deport people.
No, yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, is like, there are so many instances on record of people being like, yeah, I joined ICE because I want to fucking crack skulls. Like, there was, a couple of weeks ago, there's an article where one dude was like, yeah, I want to throw people to the ground.
That's crazy.
It's like, dude, you're just a bad, like, you need to go to therapy.
And then you see these videos, and they don't even know how to throw people to the ground because they're not as trained as cops are.
Yeah.
Wicked standard. The bar for cop training was already in hell.
They don't know how to, like, make arrests or anything like that.
Yeah.
They just, like, as violently as they can, grab people and toss them around.
Well, because did you see that video in Chicago of, like, two ICE agents, like, getting out of their car and trying to get some guy on the street, and they couldn't get him because they couldn't, like, wrestle him well enough?
It's like the dude's chasing the dude on the city bike.
Exactly. Like, they can't do their job.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe that's a good thing that they're just grabbing anybody off the street to become an agent because they can't execute on the horrible goals of this administration. But it's just, once again, post-parody.
Yeah. I don't know what I would want more, like less people but more effective, or more people but less effective. I don't know. I don't want any of it.
I don't want any of it. Exactly.
I don't want any of it.
Exactly.
Anyways, we spoke last episode about ICE being out in full force in Chicago. They conducted a military-style raid on an apartment building. Since then, protests have become larger. ICE has become more violent. We've gotten a bunch of lawsuits in court, and altogether, it's getting worse for the city and residents of Chicago.
Nice. Lots of unrest at the hands of who?
Yeah.
At the hands
directly
of
caused
protesters.
By the
at the hands of protesters.
NSPM 7 compliant.
Yeah, at the hands of paid agitators in the crowds.
Now, DHS is touting hundreds of arrests, but according to CBS, their numbers include the detention of U.S. citizens and non-criminals. Street vendors were an example.
Oh, nice. We need to get these dangerous street vendors off the street.
Yeah.
What are we doing? We need to get the Chicago hot dog off the street. What are we doing,
the
man?
Chicago dog, those bang. Like, what do you mean? You're making the city worse. And also in those numbers was counted was a fatal shooting, which happened at the end of September that I hadn't heard about. There was this guy that went to drop off his kid at daycare. ICE agents pulled up on him right after, which is a common tactic for ICE, actually, to pull up on people that are like dropping their kids off or picking them up from school.
ICE loves holding kids hostage and using kids as bait to get people.
And then this guy tried to drive away, a reasonable response given what ICE has been doing, and they shot him and killed him.
That doesn't seem like that should be allowed, even considering the standards of this administration.
Yeah.
Like, and then how are you going to use that to say that the immigrants are bad?
Yeah.
What are we doing, man?
It's not good.
And I want to say it's so bold of them to count arrests of American citizens and like people who didn't do anything, non-criminal street vendors in their arrest numbers. But I don't even know what bold is anymore.
Yeah, just people who live nearby that got arrested just because they're grabbing everyone for fun.
Like, what the hell, man? Yeah. And then counting as the numbers mean like we made the city safe. Just like what they did with D.C. They showed the National Guard shows up for one weekend back when it first popped off. Federal agents come and arrest like a couple people that they probably were already working on cases for. And they're like, the city's completely safe now. It's totally fine. It's cool. Like, what?
Yeah. Chicago and the state of Illinois have filed in court to stop the federalization of the National Guard. I last saw that like the Texas National Guard is stationed like right outside the city of Chicago. So it seems just like a matter of days before National Guard is sent into Chicago here.
I think today, like Thursday, fucking October 9th, there's a hearing going on around whether or not the Texas National Guard can be in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will go the way of the Portland hearing, which is no.
Yeah, which is no, and then it'll go to the Supreme Court, then it'll be a shadow docket decision, and they'll be like, yeah, you do whatever.
They'll be like, actually, the president has
Oh, yeah, they'll cut out. Mayor Brandon Johnson has also just signed an order preventing ICE from using any city property for their federal operations. Exactly what Democrats should be doing in this moment. Absolutely good to see. He's been killing it lately. I think ICE or DHS was also, they responded with either like a countersuit or just like responding to the complaint or whatever. And as a part of the complaint, they were like listing instances of violence against ICE agents as like to show the unrest in the city.
Okay.
And one of the complaints was somebody had their beard ripped.
Come on, bro. In what instance even?
I don't know.
Maybe this is why Pete Hegseth said you can't have beards in the military anymore.
I think included in there was like denial of services too, like the Kristi Noem complaint.
Well, because you could get a UTI if you have to hold your pee.
Exactly.
So if you don't let ICE agents use the bathroom, you're giving them UTIs. The Chicago public is giving ICE agents UTIs. This is absurd.
Yeah. We talked about this last episode as well, but I found some more background for this story. So the entire pretext for Operation Midway Blitz, quote unquote, like these insane ICE raids that are happening in Chicago, is a drunk driving car crash that killed a white woman. Allegedly, the person driving the car, the person that was drunk and caused the accident, was an undocumented immigrant. But I recently found out that the crash happened in Urbana, Illinois, not Chicago, 130 miles away from the city of Chicago.
Nice.
And obviously the pretext itself, like even if this happened in Chicago, that does not justify 0 dark 30 on an apartment building,
course.
Right? But the crash, it wasn't even in Chicago, and it was in January. Like it wasn't recent, and it wasn't even in the city that's now being occupied by ICE agents. Like the pretext doesn't even the narrative doesn't even make sense.
That's like when people pull up to Pine Knob and say, "What's up, Detroit?"
Yeah. Well, no, it would be the equivalent of like Trump invading Detroit if a car crash happened in Kalamazoo. Like same distance.
Yeah.
Same distance. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like why invade Chicago if this thing happened super far away?
God,
like they were just looking for any reason they could to justify this. It is an insane reach, and of course, it has nothing to do with what actually happened.
And it's like I don't want the National Guard deployed into any cities. But there was a couple weeks ago where Trump was saying, "Oh, blah blah blah, legal headache to send him in Chicago. We're only going to go in places where the governors want us." And they sent a National Guard into Memphis, and blah blah blah. That's been going how it's going. Why is the Texas National Guard sending people to Chicago when Texas has cities in its own state that also have crazy high crime rates, as this administration would say? Like, why aren't we doing that if we're doing this? Why do we have to send the Texas Guard to Chicago?
Yeah, no, because it's all just a program to crack down on blue cities.
Yes, and blue cities and blue states.
Yeah, and the brown people within those cities and states. It's bad.
It is bad.
I don't like
sucks.
That. The most viral moment from the last few days was quite chilling. It was an instance of ICE point blank shot a pastor that was protesting outside of the Broadview facility. A video surfaced of the incident this week. Apparently it happened in like mid-September, but the lawsuit was just filed by the ACLU on behalf of this guy against ICE, completely unprovoked. Like if you look up the video, ICE agents standing on top of the facility on the roof. There's a pastor down there who's like shouting and protesting, and they just shoot him in the head with a pepper ball.
Like, that can't happen.
No.
Like straight up, that just like it can't happen. We wouldn't accept this if like a cop did something like that. Like it's just not something that should be okay.
It's just psychotic. Like they are just making it worse.
You shouldn't get away with that. Not only does that escalate tensions like within the crowd because you're just hurting people for no reason, making people more scared. It's an escalatory action, not a de-escalatory action. It's just an unnecessary excessive use of force. Why?
Yeah, no, just inflicting harm and punishment for no reason other than, I guess, to like scare them.
On a man of God.
Yeah, a man of the cloth.
I found the anti-Christian bigotry right here. If we want to point to Christians being targeted here in the United States, I think we need to look at ICE officers now.
It's just, like even like put aside him being a pastor, like even if he was just a regular dude.
Yeah, of course.
Even if he was an atheist.
Yeah.
ICE should not just be shooting people in the head with pepper balls for fun.
No, of course, but it's like how, like, obviously when you're talking about Gaza, you talk about like half the people who have been killed are like women and children because there are associations that the general public makes when it happens. Like, you shot a pastor, dog.
Yeah, a man of God.
Like, what's going on?
A man of scripture. I don't fucking understand. Like, every video I have seen of protests escalating have specifically been because of ICE.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Well, did you see that one video? I believe it was ICE agents who, God, it was either ICE agents or like Portland police, but Portland police have actually been like on our side, on the protester side on the issue.
What an upside down
There
world,
was a
man.
dude in a frog costume that like went up and was like yelling at people on the line, and they put, I know, like a dude in a blow up inflatable frog costume, and they took pepper spray and sprayed it in the vents of his costume.
That's crazy.
I'm saying, like, that's nuts. You shouldn't be able to do that.
That's like a war crime. It's
like,
gotta be.
That feels like you're gassing someone and then they don't have like air to breathe anymore. Like, that's my first
what
thought
if they
about
like
that.
can't get that?
What if they can't get out of the costume?
In the vents? Dude,
Like,
what the fuck?
Like a mascot came up to your protest line and was like, guys, stop. And then you violate him? What's going on?
Like, again, these protests are like entirely peaceful until ICE just unnecessarily provokes people.
Exactly. I also saw another video of like a lady yelling at somebody with like a riot shield on. And then another one, point blank, just sprays pepper spray right in her eyes. Bro,
Insane.
she's just yelling at you. Words aren't like violence like that.
No, that's what conservatives have been telling us for years.
Exactly. Like, you can't do that, man. When people are protesting, you're supposed to protest with your words. In fact, that's what a protest is. And you are allowed to like yell a little bit.
Yeah, no. And like their view on this essentially is like Kristi Noem went to Portland to view the war zone. They've literally been calling Portland a war zone. Kristi Noem went to Portland. She was on the roof with a bunch of ICE agents. And the video was supposed to be like damning against the protesters, right? Like, look at all of these violent protesters out here. This is why we need like military operations in the city of Portland. And the video was of people peacefully protesting, holding signs, and respecting the police boundary.
Crazy.
Like, none of this is damning. None of this helps their narrative.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we doing, man? I don't understand.
And it's like, yeah, sometimes the protests, like in Portland, have gotten a little rowdy. Sometimes the protests in Chicago have gotten a little rowdy. But I feel like I have not seen, and yes, this is anecdotal, I have not seen instances where a protester has gotten rowdy that has not been matched or exceeded by instances of ICE officers getting very rowdy.
Exactly,
when
dude.
They're the people with state power in their hands.
They're so excited to like do violence to protesters. And I wonder like if they've been given orders to do it or if that's just like who they are.
Well, they got $50,000 in signing bonuses and a clean debt slate with their student loans wiped to go out there and do this kind of thing.
I've seen some stuff that says that's contingent, like the 50,000 bonus is contingent upon them actually getting to 3,000 deportations a day. I don't know if that's true, though.
I know it's spread out over the course of a couple of years, which that's how signing bonuses usually are. You can't sign up for ICE, get $50K, and then dip.
Because I would do it, though.
Absolutely.
And that's going right back into podcast production, baby. Come on now.
I could not fault anybody for doing that. You'd see me coming back, and we'd be in a new studio, frankly.
I'd have an ICE vest on. I'd be cosplaying like Kristi.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
One other moment that was kind of really bad was on Wednesday, Trump said that J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois, and Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago should both be jailed. I know this is like, you know, haha funny, just another day in Trump world, but this feels bad.
It's funny when like a podcaster says that.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny when like somebody who doesn't have any power is like, haha, you did this thing that's like bad, but not the worst. You should go to jail. Haha. It's not funny when a guy who can actually arrest people and direct people to arrest people is saying that we need to arrest political opposition.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
No.
like for the president to say that this governor and the mayor of the city that I am currently having invaded should go to jail. That feels really bad. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that there's commentary beyond that other than like, oh, authoritarian stuff. Yes. That's fun.
Yeah, it once again, like the boldness, I don't even know what the word means anymore. I don't even know what a lot of this stuff means anymore. All I know is that it's bad on its face, and there's not much more that you can say beyond that. Yeah. So, I did see J.B. Pritzker said, "Come and get me then," which is cool.
Clout farming.
I don't want Gavin Newsom to be the only one that gets that.
Yeah, no, he is absolutely clout farming, and like I gotta let him do it.
You gotta get it. The hype moments and aura. When they perp walk J.B. Pritzker, one is gonna be very scary for my prospects, selfishly, and two, it'll be kind kind of a cool moment in 2028 if he can ever get out.
Mm-hmm. And if he can run as like I resisted Trump.
Exactly.
Look, I was arrested by Trump.
And now Gavin Newsom's not the only one who can do that. And that's what's most important about this.
Exactly.
Honestly, maybe it was a political error for Trump to try and say we should arrest J.B. Pritzker.
Yeah.
Because now he's leveling the playing field.
Yeah, no, exactly. Just like Mallory McMorrow is trying to level the playing field by undercutting Abdul's position on Israel. We'll get to that a little bit later. But that's all I got on Chicago for today. Lots of other shit happening that I'm sure that we missed, but bad all around.
Bad all around. It sucks. Bad, no good.
Yeah,
good things are good and bad things are bad. I will remind
True.
you. You know, sometimes it just feels like all the news happens on Monday and Tuesday.
It's messed up.
But my favorite podcast drops episode on Wednesdays. I don't know what to do. It feels like they miss all of it.
That's a curse.
If only there was a platform that I could go to where I could listen to these episodes early, maybe when they record them. Do you have any thoughts?
Boy, do I have a solution for you.
Oh, do tell.
If you head over to patreon.com/headintheofficepod, you can listen to Head in the Office episodes before the curse of Monday and Tuesday news comes out.
Really? Do tell.
And you get access to commercial-free episodes. And everybody wants commercial-free episodes.
I bet there's also a whole host of other benefits and community engagement that they offer.
And friendship.
Very true.
Who
and
doesn't
that's
want friendship?
The most important thing.
Absolutely.
In times like this.
Back to the episode.
Time to talk about the government shutdown, baby, because as of Thursday, once again, October 9th, the federal government is still shut down with no signs of opening anytime soon. I believe there's a vote scheduled for like right now while they're recording. I bet $1 million that the government is still shut down by the time we finish this recording.
Yeah.
That's how bad negotiations have stalled out. And to no one's surprise, it's Republicans' fault. Republicans are still refusing to negotiate at every single turn. But they keep upping the ante. They keep trying to make things worse and put pressure on Democrats in other more illegal means. Once again, I sound
What'd they
stupid
do this
for
time?
saying it. I'll get into it.
Okay.
This time, Trump and Mike Johnson are holding furloughed federal workers hostage by threatening to not give them back pay when the shutdown ends.
Come on, man.
That's crazy.
Another instance of, wait, you can't do that.
Wait, you can't do that. And they literally can't do that, too. And it's like there is no low that Republicans won't stoop to avoid letting people have health care. And I can't stress this enough. The entire shutdown debate right now is Democrats saying, we will pass your budget bill if you extend ACA tax subsidies. We are doing this whole debate over tax credits, tax subsidies. The lamest fucking thing to talk about. This is like, come on, man.
Yeah, no, we're not asking for like Medicare for all, although we should have a universal healthcare system. It's like restore what was there like a year ago.
All we're asking is for premiums to stay the same.
yeah.
Not people who are on ACA market share plans to have cheaper health insurance, not for them to get more handouts, just for them to get the same level of thing that they've had for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And not make things like X hundreds of dollars more expensive on average right before open enrollment on November 1st.
Yeah.
That's what the Democrats are asking for. They're asking for something that will materially benefit Americans immediately.
Yeah, again, like we shouldn't, like let's not cause more needless death than already exists in our healthcare system.
And honestly,
that's too much.
It's probably misspeaking to say like materially benefit Americans immediately, because it's not going to like benefit Americans insofar as it won't make their lives better than they were before this happened.
Yeah.
It will just continue the status quo for Americans, which already fucking sucks. But the important part here is that Republicans want to make that worse for you.
Yeah.
Republicans want to make that worse for you while lying about illegal aliens getting free healthcare when they go to the emergency room, and also by just doing awful things.
Yeah. And I think most people have realized that the Republican line about undocumented immigrants getting free health care under what the Democrats are calling for, I think a lot of people have noticed that like, oh, that's just not true.
Yeah.
Because it is just like a bold-faced lie. It's not in the bill. It's not what is happening with the Medicaid funding, but they keep repeating it, and it seems like polling is on the side of the Democrats for this one.
And it's also,
so shout out messaging.
Like it's also just like, it is such an explicit lie.
Yeah.
That not even like, because usually when like Mike Johnson, J.D. Vance, Trump, when Republicans try and like twist the truth about what's going on with the piece of legislation or what's going on with the proposal or what the law says, mainstream media outlets will talk about it in a way where they kind of give credence to the Republican argument as an attempt to seem bipartisan and seem like the issue is more important than it actually is. This time they're not. This time every single outlet is going, yeah, that's just not true.
Yeah, thank God, dude.
And I mean, to I guess not even to their credit, but like, conservatives themselves are tweeting out like things that they are saying support their argument that just run counter to it.
Yeah.
Like, didn't Mike Johnson the other day tweet something that was just the opposite of what he said?
Well, no, it was the GOP Twitter account
That's
put out a
was.
tweet that was like, Democrats are trying to give undocumented immigrants free health care. And it was screenshots of the bill. And in the screenshots, it disproved what they were saying. Like, all of the immigrant categories getting Medicaid in those screenshots were documented immigrants because, like, obviously.
That's crazy.
And it's like, that's completely besides the point, because it's like undocumented immigrants pay taxes, at least through sales tax, into our system of taxes, and they get nothing back from it. Mm-hmm. Like, is that not taxation without representation?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we sort of partially fought the American Revolution over? I don't know, man. It's just fucking nonsense.
Yeah, no, it sucks bigly.
Yeah.
And they lie so boldly.
Yeah.
They lie so boldly, and they try so many more bold things.
The one I really liked was, obviously it's undocumented immigrants, but the conservatives have been roping also in, like, trans healthcare. Like,
no way.
They want
Really?
to trans the kids, and they want to give illegals healthcare. That's what they've been saying.
Oh, is this a new thing?
This was like part of the original. I think the trans healthcare thing kind of went away.
Yeah.
But when the government shutdown first happened, there's a lot of like congressional Republicans saying Democrats shut down the government to give illegals healthcare and to trans your kids. It's like, man, you're just throwing everything into one critique. Like,
I saw Trump put that AI video of Chuck Schumer saying that, like, we want to trans your kids, and he said he did an AI video of Chuck Schumer making a statement about the shutdown, saying, "Hi, I'm Chuck Schumer, and us Democrats, we shut down the government to give illegals free healthcare and do trans bullshit."
yeah, it's just,
Which is the most Facebook boomer thing to do.
Yeah.
By the way, just the complete boomerification of our government. Trump is not in charge. Trump is Joe Biden.
Trump is Joe Biden.
Donald
dude.
Trump is Joe Biden.
But Biden wasn't even posting shit like this, man. He's like Biden too.
That's true.
He's
Biden
too.
too. He's back and better than ever. We built back better, all right. Oh my God, man. But back to what's going on right now, because the illegal immigrants getting free healthcare thing was yesterday's lie.
Of course.
This time, I mean, I guess they're not even like lying. They're just trying to. The shutdown is bad for conservatives, and they're trying to exert pressure on the Democrats in any way they can. And once again, there is no low they will not stoop to. They've already threatened to just get rid of federal workers, just completely fire them, not even furlough them, and entirely remove their positions. Trump saying that he's been granted unprecedented authority or unprecedented blah, blah, blah opportunity by the shutdown to just fucking fire everybody he doesn't like within the federal government, even though you can't do that. He's been fighting in court and losing court battles to reinstate government workers that they fired through Doge and blah, blah, blah. And the latest thing is them threatening to not pay furloughed workers back pay.
Yeah.
Them holding the financial future of hundreds of thousands of government employees hostage to try and pressure the Democrats to open up the government and make your premiums more expensive.
And it's like the people that are furloughed here are by and large low-level bureaucrats. Like, these aren't the people that were making policies to the extent that they think that, like, the fucking, I don't know, Department of Agriculture was woke or whatever. The people at the lower rungs of the bureaucracy in that department were not the ones making those policies, right?
No.
The policies were never as they described them, but like those people were just implementing and executing on policy and directives that they were given from higher up. They did nothing wrong. Like literally, they just doing what what their job entails.
Yeah, the person within the Department of Agriculture whose job it is to disperse grants to farmers is not doing the Green New Deal. That's just never been the reality of what anything is. And yes, the bureaucracy can be annoying a lot of times, but the way that conservatives have, I guess, demonized just what regular federal employees do in their day-to-day has been insane.
Yeah. And I need to emphasize that, like, the destruction of the federal government as it exists has always been one of the main goals of the right wing in this country. They have always wanted to limit the capacity of government to regulate the market, to protect the working class, and to protect consumers. And the complete destruction of the federal government, as it seems we're getting to with Trump wanting to fire all the workers using the pretext of a shutdown to do it, that will just give more power to massive corporations who are no longer regulated by the people who have been fired.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Like, even if the law is there that says, you know, corporations can't do X, Y, and Z, this kind of practice is illegal, if the regulators aren't there to enforce it, then the law doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's take like healthcare for an example, right? If we don't even have like Medicaid as a social safety net for people to fall back on, you think work requirements now are bad. Imagine the work requirements when there is no more social safety net and the only way you can get health insurance is to work. That sucks.
Yeah.
That's bad. Health insurance isn't something that you should just get it.
Yeah,
healthcare is something that's so essential to being able to live that it should just be, I don't know, afforded to everyone in general, but we can't even have these conversations.
I mean, speaking of like, they always talk about like waste, fraud, and abuse. That sort of narrative is starting to peak back up around talks about Medicaid. But if the Medicaid offices are gutted because of what Trump does under this shutdown, then waste, fraud, and abuse is going to be going fucking buck wild as providers and insurers charge the program a lot more, and none of that can be checked for waste, fraud, or abuse because there's nobody to do it.
Yeah, maybe Rick Scott would defraud the program to the tune of like $1 billion again,
and he'd get away with it. Because there's nobody to check it.
Yeah, maybe he could do the biggest Medicaid fraud in history again.
Yeah, like double charges, phantom charges, like those are real things that do threaten the integrity of a program like Medicaid, and you just need people there to make sure that shit doesn't happen.
Yeah, once again, less than a couple percent, if it's even a couple and more than 1% of all fraud with Medicare and Medicaid was individual like beneficiaries. The vast majority of fraud is providers double charging and doing the things that you just described. It's stupid.
Well, because like with Medicaid and Medicare, like it's not like you don't get like a check.
Yeah,
right. Like they don't. You don't tell the government like, hey, I need this much Medicaid money, and they send it to you. It works the same way as like healthcare.
I can't go say, hey, I need money for foot surgery. That will be $3,000, government, please.
It works through the bureaucracy of hospital systems, insurers, the government itself. Like there's really no way for beneficiaries to like scam the system.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's happened before, right? But it's very rare. For the most part, it is providers and it's insurers that scam Medicaid.
And it's crazy that that's like conceded at this point, and we're fighting about the ACA tax subsidies.
Yeah.
We're fighting about your premiums not going up to the point where your wallet is getting dicked down by the federal government.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Come on.
He's got his dick in the money, man.
He's got his dick in the money, man. He's doing awful and nefarious things to the money right now. It's absurd in your wallets. And this is something that will affect people incredibly negatively.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I want people to understand that like regulatory capture is one of like the biggest issues in our society right now. The fact that agencies that are charged with regulating various industries are captured by those same industries. It's a massive fucking problem. It's going to get even worse if they don't have to even try to capture the government because the government doesn't exist in that area anymore. Like the government exists or should exist as a bulwark to protect you from the worst abuses that happen within the free market. But if it's just gone, it's only going to get worse. And that is the goal of the conservative.
And that sucks so bad.
Yeah.
And that sucks so bad. And like if Democrats don't get what they want out of this shutdown, if conservatives can somehow like railroad them, blah, 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 maybe go nuclear, change the rules around the filibuster somehow and just get the government funded and the ACA tax credits never like extend, when you or someone you know's premiums go up like next year as early as 2026,
as early as in
a couple months. Yeah. They need to know that this was a policy choice that was made by conservatives. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about a lot of the things that the government does that affects them, is that it is a choice that somebody made and those people can be held to account.
Well, and isn't enrollment open like right now?
Open enrollment is November 1st.
Oh, it starts November 1st.
So it's opening soon. That's why Democrats shut it down now, because originally conservatives wanted to pass, I believe, a 7-week stopgap that would get things funded until November 21st. But by then, people would have already slipped through the cracks of the system, not re-upped, not got health insurance, which would make their health outcomes just like worse in general, because that's often what happens when you don't have insurance and you don't want to go to the doctor and then you don't engage in preventative care. And it's just, it's all very bad when people don't feel like they can go get something checked out.
Like, say what you will about the Democratic Party, and I sure have my beef with them, but like at least they are still interested in like keeping the government functioning to some degree. Like they aren't like Republicans willing and able to just destroy everything.
And it's like, genuinely, like, what has been something that Trump and the Republicans have wanted to do to like actually help Americans?
Nothing, dude.
That like directly help Americans, that isn't like going through this facade of we're going to help businesses who are then going to help you. The only thing I can maybe think of is executive orders on prescription drug pricing and things that Trump has wanted to do around that. But it's like,
maybe no tax on tip.
Maybe no tax on tips.
But like that's incredibly marginal.
But no tax on tips didn't even end up being like no tax on like all your tips.
Yeah.
And that's for podcasters too. Like no tax on overtime isn't no tax on overtime. It's no tax on a portion of your overtime. And no tax on Social Security isn't no tax on Social Security. It's a senior tax credit.
Yeah.
Like, other than those few instances, like, what have people gotten? At least Democrats are actually going out there and trying to fight for something that will materially affect a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what the working class got was, like, Medicaid cuts and SNAP cuts. like, we're just going to starve you and let you die.
Exactly, because the reality of the tax proposals that were proposed in the Big Beautiful Bill make it so that, like, of the worst among us, of the people who are the most vulnerable, they're going to end up paying more in taxes because of the loss of benefits.
Yeah.
They may be getting, like, more dollars back from not their return, but they may be paying less taxes into the federal government, but they are losing value in what they would get from services that were taken away from them.
Yeah.
And those services that were taken away from them were worth far more than saving $50.
Yeah, no, 1 billion studies were done on the bill before it passed. And overall household resources for the worst off in society go down under this bill. And overall household resources for the richest in society go up. Like it is explicitly a transfer of wealth. There's no other way to see it.
Other than maybe prescription drugs, which I don't even know the status of that. I don't even know what Trump's doing, and I'm trying very hard to like actually be charitable to somebody who does not deserve it right now. What have Trump and the Republicans given the American people that hasn't been hit with a massive caveat of, but this helps the wealthy way more, or but this isn't actually good for you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of it, and I've been covering this administration extensively.
But even the prescription drug stuff, it's like, we're just going to charge other countries more.
Yeah.
And it's like, first of all, I don't see how this framework is going to work whatsoever. And second of all, you're not going after the reason that prescription drugs are so expensive, which is that we have a privatized healthcare system.
And although it wasn't Trump, the Republicans writ large during Joe Biden stopped Medicare from being able to negotiate better.
Yeah, like, they voted against it.
They routinely stop anything from like helping anybody except it's like billionaires.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Still haven't got those Epstein files.
And it's really bad. And this administration just continues to act just for the rich and wealthy elite and for Trump's rich friends. Wait, like half of his cabinet is full of billionaires?
Yeah, they're all rich as hell.
And like one of the notable non-billionaires on the cabinet is Kristi Noem, and she's evil and awful in her own way. Like, come on, man.
Well, she's got to work harder to prove herself.
This is true. Like, who is this administration for?
Yeah.
I genuinely don't understand. And who it is not for, getting back on track from that tangent, is the furloughed federal worker, because Trump is threatening once again to not pay them. This is, of course, not something they can legally do, but they do not care. I believe here they're taking the Stephen Miller approach of, I can interpret the law any way I want and thus do anything I want with the law, which is just... That's what's going on, and I there's nothing I can do to fight back against that. It's just up to the courts.
Yeah, man, Democrats should play fast and loose with the Constitution.
Yes, they really should. And just to illustrate like what they're doing this, I have statements from Mike Johnson and Donald Trump, and I want to start this off by playing a statement from Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House himself, talking about possibly not paying federal workers, furloughed workers, their back pay.
That in previous shutdowns, many or most of them have been paid for the time that they were furloughed. But there is new legal analysis. I don't know the details. I just saw a headline this morning. I'm not read in on it, and I haven't spoken to the White House about it. But there are some legal analysts who are saying that that may not be appropriate or necessary in terms of the law requiring that back pay be provided. So I'm sure
that might not be appropriate or necessary. Incredibly interesting position to be taking when you're talking about, I don't know, the financial futures of low-level bureaucrats.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. A friend of a friend of a friend told me that I might not have to pay thousands of people their money.
It seems like all you have to do to get whatever you want from this administration is say, a new legal analysis told me, and then the legal analysis is from your friend.
It's from Stephen Miller, probably.
yeah, it's like Jeremy did a new legal analysis the other day that says the government has to give me like a stimulus check every month.
Yeah, or it's the same shit with like habeas corpus. We talked about this a few months ago. Like we were saying like, oh, you can't just get rid of habeas corpus. And Stephen Miller was like, but like, what if I did though? Like that was the argument, right? Yeah. Like nobody fucking cares about anything. Nothing is real. You can just assert things apparently.
Yeah. No, and this is obviously on its face incredibly unpopular. I don't think anybody wants to see federal workers just get fucked by a shutdown that they had no control over. And I think Mike Johnson admits that. He sort of tacitly like walked back this statement the next day yesterday saying that federal workers should get back pay and that it would be a moot point if Democrats just reopened the government. But I think it matters if Mike Johnson or even John Thune is uncomfortable with I think it does matter that like conservative leaders are uncomfortable with the idea of not paying federal workers, but I think it's more dangerous that they're even floating it and entertaining that idea because Trump told them
and it's just a way to apply pressure to Democrats. Like, they don't give a fuck about the people.
Exactly.
They just want to pressure Democrats in any way that they can and act like, oh, this is just something you forced our hand. It's just a result of your actions. When in reality, like you said, it's a policy decision.
And even if Mike Johnson is made personally uncomfortable by this idea, even if he doesn't agree with it and thinks federal workers should get back pay, he's not going to, should Trump get his way here, which we'll explain what his way is in a minute, he's not going to move away from Trump. Mm-hmm. He's not going to turn his back on conservative leadership. He's not going to disobey the guy who is functionally the God King within the party. He's going to fall in line. All of these Republicans will fall in line, just like they have fallen in line. Look at the absolute battle the House has been fighting with just to peel off one more conservative for the Epstein files release.
Yeah.
They can't do it because they are so scared of what would happen to them if they defied Trump, because he's the kingmaker in the party.
Yeah, and like in reality, I'm sure that some workers will probably get back pay, but it's going to be like, anybody that works at a lower level in DHS will definitely get their back pay.
Anybody that works in the woke department will get their back pay. Or in the woke department won't, but ICE agents will.
Well, exactly. And anybody that's in the Department of Labor is not going to get paid. Yeah. And in fact, they don't have a job anymore.
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much where Trump is going with it. On the issue, Trump said to reporters, quote, "I would say it depends on who we're talking about. For the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way."
What the fuck?
Yes. What the fuck does that mean, dude? Like, genuinely, what the hell does that mean?
Just say, we're going to take them out back.
We're going to take them out, but we'll figure it out what's going to happen with them.
Jimmy Hoffa, what the hell, man?
Yeah, and that's how this administration is being run.
Yeah.
And it's actually absurd. When a reporter pressed him on this, saying the law says that workers will receive back pay once the government reopens, Trump said, "What the law says is correct, and I follow the law." Bro doesn't know what's going on.
No.
Bro doesn't know what he's saying. More on that later. But the law in question here was passed in 2019 after the longest shutdown in American history under Trump 1, notably. The law, the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act, was passed overwhelmingly bipartisanly by Congress and signed by Trump himself to ensure back pay for federal workers when a shutdown happens. The text of the bill reads, quote,
"Well, that was recent. Wow. I thought that was like a while ago."
No,
I would have thought that'd be like a 1980s
That's
thing.
what I'm saying. Before this was passed, Congress had to appropriate the funds individually.
Oh, okay.
Like, they had to go and just vote on whether or not to give people back pay. And they said, hey, this is absurd. We just did the longest shutdown ever. That's scary and anxiety-inducing for these people. Let's just make it an automatic process because we always vote for it.
That's
anyway.
some wicked foreshadowing.
Uh-huh.
Whoever came up with that idea was a very smart person.
No, the irony here is insane.
Yeah.
The irony here is crazy that this passed under Trump 1, and now Trump's like, we're not going to follow the law, but I'm going to follow the law because that's what the law says.
Dog, you signed the bill.
I know. It's passed bipartisanly. Everybody loves that fucking word. But the text of the bill reads, quote, "Each employee of the United States government or of a District of Columbia public employer furloughed as a result of a covered lapse in appropriations shall be paid for the period of the lapse in appropriations." You get back pay if you're
plain
furloughed.
text. I'm an originalist.
I'm a plain text originalist right here. What the text of the bill is clear. The text of the bill is clear, and this is what it says. Mm-hmm. And we should follow that to the T. Huge Law and Order Democrats on this podcast.
That's us, Law and Order Democrats. Tough on crime, Law and Order Democrats.
We got tax and spend conservatives with all this ridiculous ICE funding, and we got Law and Order Democrats right here trying to enforce the letter of the law as Congress passed bipartisanly.
Yeah, that's the framing I like.
They passed it bipartisanly, so that means it's good.
Bipartisan parentheses, good.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
It reached across the aisle. Yes, I love that. That's my favorite thing. But like, despite the absolute clear text of the bill, there are still people in the White House that will do anything that they can to hurt people and try and blame Democrats for it because that's what they love to do.
Yeah.
They are in it for the love of the game, man.
They fuck with that bigly. Yeah.
They fuck with that hugely. In a draft memo from the Office of Management and Budget, the administration argues that the law does not require back pay. Instead, OBM says Congress must decide whether or not to include back pay in a bill to fund the government. Axios reported. Yeah, I know. It says right there, dude. Axios reported that the White House does not believe the law automatically covers all furloughed workers because of a change in the law that says employees would be paid, quote, subject to the enactment of appropriations acts ending the lapse.
Yeah, so when they fund the government.
So when they fund the government, these people get paid.
Yeah.
Once again, still a plain text originalist here. I'm still looking at the legislation like as
and I've always been a plain text originalist.
That's what I am to my core. Me when I'm auditioning to be on the Supreme Court, right?
I am.
I always do. Look at the law right there. All that is saying is that when the government gets funded, these people get paid. This does not say there needs to be a separate appropriations bill or there needs to be specific appropriations that are set aside to pay for the back pay. And that's it.
In fact, that's the situation we avoided before, which I didn't even know about.
Yeah, and it's insane that Congress is trying to say that this is interpreted in a way that Congress has to specifically appropriate back pay funds, because I'm no lawyer, but that does feel like an incredibly wild stretch. If funds needed to be appropriated specifically to pay for the back pay of furloughed federal employees, then we would be doing the same thing we've done since pre-passage of this law. There is no reasonable way to interpret any bill or piece of legislation that says, oh, I'm a bill, but I do nothing. That's not.
Yeah, we passed a bill to solve this problem, but like, let's keep doing it the old way.
Like, you literally cannot interpret something and like genuinely mean it and be reasonable to say I'm useless. Come on. Come on, man. Not even a cuck sitting in the corner would say I'm useless because they're getting something out of it.
But like, why?
It's a part of the act.
Crazy comparison. But like, why would they have passed the bill if not to avoid this in the future?
Even the amendment does not nullify any of that. In fact, it just says you need to pass a bill.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's cool and good, man. Once again, this administration just does not care about the law, and they do not care about acting in good faith. I think the Trump administration is taking I'm going to throw shit at the wall and see who tries and stops me approach.
Yeah.
And I mean, shit, man, it's working. Like, nobody's really trying to stop it. We're getting held up by the courts. The Supreme Court said no more universal injunctions. So now, even when it's plainly obvious that the National Guard can't go to Portland and the judge rules that it's illegal and the president is violating their authority, we still have to go through the same runaround in Chicago because judge in Portland has no jurisdiction over what's happening in Chicago.
Yeah.
It sucks, and that's stupid.
I mean, I could see them, whenever the government reopens, just going to the Treasury Department and being like, hey, don't pay these people out. Because like that's what it is, right? Is like the Treasury Department would have to pay them out. And they did send, like back when this administration first came into power, they sent Elon Musk and his cronies into the Treasury Department and cut off a bunch of payments that they weren't supposed to. So like, why wouldn't they do it again? They've been building up to this.
But it's like they don't even need to go to the Treasury Department. They don't need to run around. If whatever interpretation they do holds up in court, which is what they're trying to do, like when like talking about this, Axios reported that the Trump advisor said, quote, Trump will take his chances in court. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Like, these people are just like blatantly wasting resources. Once again, tax and spend conservatives, heavy on the spend, heavy on the spend conservatives. They are wasting all of the Department of Justice in, one, airing out Trump's petty grievances with individual political opponents, and two, pursuing legal challenges in things that they are never going to win just because they want to try and see if they can win.
Yeah, lawyers aren't free, brother.
Nobody else is stopping them.
Yeah.
That's patently absurd. That is patently absurd and not a place that we should be, not something we should be entertaining as a country.
Yeah.
Right, man? It's just throw shit at the wall and I'm going to keep doing it till you stop me. These people suck.
Like your legal strategy shouldn't include the phrase, why not?
Yeah.
Like you should be like sure about something.
You should actually have like robust analysis to support your side before you actually go and waste federal judges' time and resources.
Yeah, we don't have to follow.
That's your money. In fact, I'm going to be a conservative about this and say those are my tax dollars.
Well, we don't have to follow the Civil Rights Act. Why not?
Why not?
Like, why should we? We're going to try that out. We're going to try to overturn the Civil Rights Act.
That's what they do with like gay wedding cakes every 2 years at the Supreme Court.
I know.
So somebody says, I'm going to go to this place, and why not?
The fucking, the gay wedding cake fucking case that we had a few years ago or last year or whenever the hell it was literally just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Like these people.
That was literally why not?
These people, like, it's so lame, man. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
How did they even like... That's a topic for a whole nother time, man.
Supreme Court with fucking Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito.
Supreme Court will do anything that they can to remove like precedent. Not that there was precedent in those cases, but I'm just thinking of more recent things where Clarence Thomas is like, yeah, we're coming for lovings. You know, who fucking knows?
I'm coming for my own marriage.
I'm coming for my own marriage. We're coming for Obergefell. We're coming for sodomy laws. We're coming for anything that's fine, actually.
Yeah.
So whatever, man. And it's like, these are the people that say they're the party of law and order. It's only ever law and order when it's about brutalizing a brown person. It's only ever law and order when it's about sending ICE agents to arrest an abuela who's been here for 30 years and the only thing they did wrong was cross the border illegally. But it's not law and order when it involves, I don't know, inflicting financial hardship on hundreds of thousands of federal workers before the holiday season.
Yeah. It's not Law and Order when it comes to like cracking down on corporate abuse or like, you know, stealing money from the public, the public purse or anything like that. It's just, it's always been a euphemism. It's not real.
No, and it's just like the my tax dollars argument. It's always my tax dollars when it's, I don't know, something good or something gay even. Yeah. Like gay Sesame Street over in Iraq or whatever the hell that thing was that conservatives were getting upset about. But it's never my tax dollars when it's ICE spending a gajillion dollars to go blow up an apartment building in Chicago.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, ICE agents just individually getting all their student loan debt wiped out.
Oh, yeah. I don't want my tax dollars going to transing the kids, but I do want my tax dollars going to the Pentagon that has never passed an audit before.
Yep.
That's cool.
And it's crazy because I'm pretty sure conservatives would be okay with getting rid of the public service student loan forgiveness program, but never say anything ever about ICE getting their student debt wiped.
Well, because student loan forgiveness is good when it's for bad people and bad when it's for regular people.
Exactly. Student loan forgiveness is good when you like trade that for violence.
It's the same shit with like the PPP loans, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we can forgive all this debt from the businesses, but we can't forgive it from college students. And it's just because of like culture war bullshit. Like the students don't deserve it, but the businesses do because I say so.
It's so crazy how much like culture war bullshit that doesn't like matter, like does not matter in like day-to-day lives, blah, 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 trans girls in sports, fucking business, whatever the fuck conservatives want to do, doesn't matter to like what I do in day-to-day life until it gets to the level of like policy. And then they just enact crazy wicked measures that make everything more expensive and awful for everyone.
Yeah.
Man, it sucks so bad, man. And just once again, whenever we're talking about the shutdown, this is because Republicans want premiums to go up.
Yeah.
And that's the message on it. Republicans allowed the government to shut down, allowed all the suffering to happen because they want you or someone you know to pay more money for healthcare.
They just don't give a fuck about you, dog. They do not care. They like that you suffer. That's just who they are.
And Trump is just all Biden about this. And I think this...
I love the comparison. Because, like, it's got to be so hurtful to him if he ever hears it. You know?
I hope he does hear it one day. I hope one day we get a Trump is Biden clip to go viral and it makes its rounds through OBM or whatever. Because, man, it's like, if it wasn't clear before, I think it should be especially clear with his quotes on this issue where he's saying, blah, 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 I'll do what the law says, but also we're going to go after the people that we like and not the ones that we... not the ones we do like. You know what I mean?
He's incredibly old.
That he doesn't know what's going on, and much like how Stephen Miller runs everything that's happening with immigration, and Trump doesn't really have a say on that until he wants to go and say brown people bad. I think Russ Vaught is just running everything to do with this government shutdown, and Trump just doesn't know what's happening, is allowing it to happen. I think that Trump, not to like sane wash or whitewash Trump's involvement and all the awful things that are going on, but I think Trump being the president is really just so that conservatives, the Project 2025 guys, could rally behind some figurehead that has a unique charisma that could get people out to go and vote for him, unfortunately, so they could use him as a sort of useful idiot to enact their Project 2025 agenda. And that's exactly what they're doing.
He's just the figurehead. Yeah.
And I mean, Trump admitted the other day that like, he's like, Russ Vaught, Project 2025 guy, having a meeting with him today. After he tweeted it out, like after just denying all year that he had nothing to do with Project 2025, which anyone with a brain knew was true or was not true. But man, that sucks bigly.
Yeah, it does suck bigly. The congregation is missing someone. And that someone, dear listener, is you. The congregation awaits you over on our Discord. If you go into the description of this episode right now, there will be a link to join the Head in the Office Discord where you will find more than 1,000 like-minded individuals for you to interact with. And maybe most importantly, we'll be there.
1,000 members strong. It is a burgeoning community of HITO heads.
That's right.
Ready to receive you into their arms. Make you a part of the community. Vest you as a HITO head.
Over on Discord, we have discussions. You can interact with other HITO heads. And maybe, for some fun, we can do some community events. And we know that you want to be a part of that. Only available over on the official Head in the Office Discord. Moving on from the federal government.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the state of Michigan.
Honestly, we got to talk about geopolitics and local politics all wrapped up into one.
Oh my God, clashing now.
It's a wonderful synthesis of what we do here on this podcast.
And this is going to be a bit of nuance. This is going to be a moment where it's like, oh, leftist is never happy. But it's like, low-key, I have reason not to be. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, not to be like a woke purity testing leftist about it, but like...
It's suspicious. So we got to talk about the state of Michigan. Of course, we've been talking about the Senate race that's been heating up. We also have a governor's race here. And they've sort of had some developments in an interesting way. In summary, some people are starting to say the word genocide.
Which is a good thing?
Some people convincingly so. Otherwise, other people seemingly reluctantly saying the word genocide.
Really a tale of two cities here.
Yeah, and one might wonder what's really going on here. So we spoke recently about how our lieutenant governor, currently running for governor, Garland
friend
Gilchrist,
friend
of the show, we had him on the pod a couple of months ago. He called what Israel is doing to Gaza a genocide. He did this at an event. He had a statement prepared. He said it very boldly, very obviously, and that was good.
It was good.
You know, it was sort of, it leaned a little bit too much on like placing all the blame on like Netanyahu and not like Zionism as an idea, but like, yeah, we take those.
Yeah, we take those. Yeah, I can't expect many public figures to do that extra step.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not, right? So that was good to see the lieutenant governor do. I don't think anybody else in the governor's race has said that, so it's like, that's good.
Yeah, no, shouts out.
It's difficult because, like, the governor, again, we say this all the time, governors have no foreign policy role. Yeah, they don't do anything.
I think it is, like, important that he did go out there and, like, feel the need to address it as, like, a big thing that matters to constituents, especially here in Michigan, Dearborn, huge Arab Muslim population and whatnot. A lot of people that care about the issue here in Michigan. Despite him not having any power over it, I think it kind of represents him taking, like, an undue risk to do the right thing.
Yeah, no, it's good to see, and it's just like a moral clarity thing. Like, it's good to know that you aren't like so corrupt that you would just ignore this issue and it's a thing people care about. That being said, of course, governors, they can't really do anything about it.
Exactly.
But it's good to know their positions, of course. But in the Senate race, much more applicable to foreign policy, our guy Abdul has obviously called it a genocide. He said it was a genocide on our show. He's been clear about his position since day one.
Shouts out my man, the GOAT.
Shout out my guy Abdul. Shout out moral clarity. Shout out like knowing what's good and what's bad. Good things are good, bad things are bad, as we always say.
So
we point
true,
to the
so
sign.
true.
But Mallory McMorrow, on the other hand, has not been as clear. And
Mallory McMorrow, Abdul's opponent.
Yes, in the primary, another Democrat running for the Senate race. And look, I don't even really want to like talk about Haley Stevens on this issue because it's a waste of time.
She's fully bought and paid for. She was paid for by AIPAC to unseat Andy Levin, and I believe the 2020 race. 22. Yeah.
Like it's there's no point on the issue of Israel talking about Haley Stevens, but a couple of weeks ago we covered how McMorrow seemed to have been triangulating a relationship with AIPAC that didn't make her look too bad. We noted then that it seems like she has some decent political instincts, recognizing that like AIPAC could fund the campaign, but it would not look good right now.
Yes.
So that's like, it's kudos to her in a strategic sense, but like still sort of morally dubious.
As somebody who recognized game.
But earlier last week, McMorrow used the term genocide, and she started getting some applause for this, especially online. But I think it's worth taking a listen to the audio itself, and you know, it might not be as forceful as you think.
And a lot of the articles about this were McMorrow calls it a genocide, and it's like, does she?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
really.
I guess in like the definition of it, she calls it a genocide. But I think we should roll the clip and see what she actually has to say on the issue.
There is universal agreement on this issue. There is. The idea that there isn't is wrong. But we need people who are willing to enter into rooms and have conversations from a place of humanity to bring out that solution.
Do you think it's a genocide?
Yeah.
Based on the definition, yes.
You have to win.
Hold on. And I will also say, and I've said out loud, I don't care what you call it. Yeah. And here's what because there are members in the Jewish community, it means something very different to them. That if you've lost family members in the Holocaust, it means the specific medical testing, gas chambers being put on a train. I don't want us to get lost in, do you agree with this definition or not? I want to get to the solution.
That is the most politician answer I think you can give while trying to sort of like play both sides of the issue. One, the long pause I think is personally damning. Like, I don't know. We've been on this thing since the inception of the podcast. Yeah. We've been on this thing before people even knew what Israel and Gaza were. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, definitionally, sure, but I wouldn't call it that because of like X, Y, and Z reasons. And ultimately, like, I don't think we should get so hung up over like words. I think we should get caught up over solutions. That's a non-answer. Yeah. That's a cop-out. That's you trying to avoid the moral implications of calling it a genocide and saying that you personally believe it's a genocide. Because don't get this confused. Mallory McMorrow did not call it a genocide. Mm-hmm. She said other people call it a genocide, and I guess in some ways you could consider it one.
She said based on the definition, yes, and then added a billion different nuances to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Don't get me wrong. I am very glad that statewide Democrats are feeling the pressure to change their position on Israel because they're recognizing that the old positions are just untenable in this political environment. I think it's a good sign, and I'm glad that somebody like Mallory McMorrow is using the word genocide here. It's good that we're using the correct terminology. But to follow it up with, I don't care what you call it.
Yeah.
How is that consistent? Like, oh, yeah, I think what happened in Rwanda was a genocide. But if you don't want to use that word, it's okay. No, it's a genocide.
Yeah.
And it's not just a matter of the rhetorical styles we use to talk about an issue. It's about, are you morally clear on what's happening? And can you actually get us to a place where people aren't being killed in mass?
And when we talk about Gaza as an issue of moral clarity, you have to you have to give a morally clear answer, and this was not one.
Yeah.
This answer was like arriving at the I don't know, the right conclusion wrongly, or I don't know how to articulate it, but I feel like you, listener, also feel like this is weird.
Yeah, no,
what she said is weird about this.
And again, I really don't want to come across as like, oh, the left can never be happy. You can never be satisfied. Because it's like, I'm happy that this is happening, or I'm happy that candidates feel the need to change their position. But again, I don't understand how you can say, I don't care what you call it, if you genuinely think it's a genocide. If you really think that people are being purposefully ethnically cleansed, how can you be cool if somebody's not willing to call it what it is along with you? Like, it's completely inconsistent. It is morally fraught. It does not make sense.
Well, that's why I say she's not calling it a genocide. She's saying other people call it a genocide, and that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like. And it's like, I don't know, man. I really don't want to do the, like you said, leftist can never be happy thing, the purity testing leftist thing.
Yeah,
but it's I think it is appropriate in this instance because, once again, we are faced with this is a primary race, and she is going against an opponent that has a better opinion. And
it's important to know how Democrats arrive at their position, specifically on an issue like Israel, because we're thinking about giving them a lot of power in the Senate, right? Like, we should know your thought process here. And if you can't, clearly articulate what's going on without resulting or backtracking, retreating into this politician speak, then that's problematic.
And when did this happen? When did she say this?
A couple of days ago, right after it was revealed that Abdul out fundraised her.
Interesting.
That's important context.
She said this a couple days ago.
It was around the anniversary of October 7th, but I think it was this past week.
So did she say it after? Because what gets there for me, and obviously I want everybody to arrive at the correct position for this. That's what I do advocacy for. I don't do advocacy so I can go out and purity test other people who aren't as woke as me or whatever. I do advocacy so other people can arrive at the positions that I've arrived at and advocate for things I advocate for. And I don't want this to appear like I'm not happy that McMorrow has arrived at this, but when we're at a place where there is a ceasefire that is possibly being imposed and the war could possibly be over, more on that in a little bit, although that's a developing story right now and there's not too much that I want to say about it while it's developing. I don't want this to be an Iraq war thing. I don't want this to be something that one day everybody recognizes was bad, but doesn't actually learn the lessons of why this is bad from. No politician right now runs around and says that our wars in the Middle East were cool. Everybody campaigns and signals about the idea that we shouldn't have been in the Middle East. We shouldn't have done that, blah, 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 despite having voted for it when it actually mattered and when it was happening. We are approaching a spot where possibly, maybe, the genocide was ending. I think it's a little sus that once it's ending, you start to say that, this is what's happening. I understand that she wasn't a figure and that she wasn't running for Senate beforehand during the bulk of what's happening, but still the timing is questionable, man.
But state representatives like Dylan Wagella have said it's a genocide, right? He's not running for higher office. He's just a member of the House. So it's it does beg the question of what took so long for you to get to this position. Because this is the first time she said it, and when she's been asked about it previously, she called it a humanitarian crisis, but wasn't willing to call it a genocide. So, what changed? And my thought is that, it was the fundraising numbers, right? What else would explain it? Because it has been more than 2 years now.
It really is the money. You don't understand what happens to something. Go look at the money, and you might be able to find an answer to it. And Abdul did out fundraise her now.
It seems like she's trying to sort of, again, triangulate a position on this issue that takes some of the, I don't know, motivation or manpower away from Abdul, because so far Abdul's been the only candidate to say, it's a genocide, we should cut off funding. to this state.
Well, he's been full-throated in his condemnations of all things that are bad and condoning all good things that are good.
Exactly.
That's why he's the HITO candidate of choice.
We made him in a lab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, again, I really don't want this to be like a left is never satisfied thing. But to your point, it reminds me of a Marx quote. Philosophers have interpreted the world, but the point is to change it. Right? Like the point of doing this thing we call politics is not just to understand what's happened or to understand political systems, but is to change how we do things. So like you said, people don't have to die, and then we look back in 10 years and say, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And it makes me question why she has this position now, and if it's only after a fundraising deadline where like the reports came out, I only have like one conclusion to draw. You know what I mean? Like, what else am I supposed to do with that info?
I was also like, it's so easy to be on the right side of something after it's already happened or when it's wrapping up. Like that's kind of like where I'm at with this. And also, like, I'll admit too, I am biased towards Abdul. Like straight up, there's also that, like, Abdul is my ideal candidate for many reasons, and I want him to succeed over her. That's where it is.
I'll say, just like reading from her her campaign website, she does have a little spot on Israel and Gaza, and she has 4 bullet points for like what her stated position is. And it's, quote, get a continuous sufficient flow of aid into Gaza, temporarily stop sending offensive weapons to Israel that prolong this war. Hamas needs to release the hostages and disarm immediately. And lastly, a permanent ceasefire to stop this humanitarian crisis and end the violence in Gaza. I don't believe this list has changed since she used the word genocide. But like, you know, that's not like, it's not a bad list of positions.
No, and I mean, honestly, it's a list that's better than a lot of
most Democrats right now.
Like it's cool, but like, I don't know, if I'm having to choose between somebody who like just arrived at a position that is like kind of questionable and somebody who's had the right position for like a while now and been morally clear for a while, I'm gonna pick the dude that's been morally clear, and that's Abdul.
Yeah, and it's also like, I know that every politician does like the release the hostages thing, and I believe the hostages should be released, right? Like, I condemn political violence, I condemn hostage taking, but there's only one group in this conflict, quote unquote, that we give money to, and it's Israel. So why is your position not revolving entirely around our relationship with Israel? Because we don't have a relationship with Hamas.
Yeah.
We don't give Hamas weapons. It's not like we're funding both sides of this conflict. We fund one actor, and that one actor, as Mallory McMorrow said, is committing a genocide. So I don't know, man. It feels like there's a sort of imbalance here, and a lot of it feels scummy in a way that I can't quite articulate.
I think it's like refusing to get out there and say full-throatedly that it's a genocide after seeing like all the things that we're saying right now is like refusing. If you're doing that, I think it's because you don't want to acknowledge that like Israel is the primary actor and has been the primary perpetrator of a lot of the awful things that have happened since October 7th. Like, you know, like after October, like, yes, October 7th was horrible. October 7th was awful. That shit should never happen. That shit was wrong, vile, evil, all the bad things. Condemn.
Big on condemning.
Huge on condemning Hamas.
That's where the condemnations came from.
Exactly. Everything that happened after October 7th has been awful, and in some cases worse.
Yeah, and as soon as October 7th happened,
most of, like, all cases, like, worse. Like, there's been a million October 7ths that have happened in Gaza since then. They haven't been concentrated onto one day, but they've been spread out over literally 2 years now.
Yeah.
Like, the death toll's, like, over, like, what, 60,000 now?
At least.
And that's just confirmed dead. That's at least 60,000 dead.
Yeah.
It's more likely upwards of many, many, many more.
Hundreds of thousands.
That's a lot of October 7ths that have happened, actually.
The initial comparison, the thing that Joe Biden said was it was 15 9/11s. like as a proportion of Israel's population, it was 15 9/11s. But
which is just
if you do the same math in Gaza, it's been like hundreds of 9/11s, right?
Yeah.
Like for the sufferings for the people of Gaza. And again, we're only funding one side of this. It's not like Israel is just some force of nature. We're giving them the weapons to do it.
Yeah, we only have control over one actor here.
Yeah. And control is the right word. Like they would stop immediately if we said, "Hey dog, no more."
Turn off the money spigot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we've refused to do that. And at a more basic level, of course, the question after hopefully this sort of episode in the fighting ends, the question is like, will we continue to arm and defend what is obviously an apartheid state? And for someone like McMorrow, I'm guessing the answer is yes for whatever reason, right? Like there's no deeper examination of our relationship to Israel here. It's just what can immediately be done. And then beyond that, a lot of Democrats say two-state solution, but it's like, what does that even mean at this point? I don't know.
Because once this happens, the conversation over conditioning aid will be over, and it will be whatever until Israel does this again, I guess. Like, it's just gonna... There's no principled analysis here. I think is what we're arriving at that makes us feel icky about this. It's a public pressure thing, which I don't know. It sucks. I think this is like the first time we've ever done the purity test kind of like leftism thing, which I still don't think it's purity testing leftism. It's like aesthetic leftism, but it sucks.
Yeah, no, it does suck bigly.
But that's what primaries are for.
It's what primaries are for. And again, I'm glad the winds have shifted to such an extent that she feels it's necessary to sort of change her rhetoric on this. I think that's a good sign overall.
And it makes it more palatable should she somehow unfortunately beat Abdul in the primary to go and then advocate to vote for her in the Senate race in 26.
Yeah.
Which is not something I hope to do.
I just, I don't know, man. Again, I think she's got pretty good political instincts based on what we've seen out of her so far. And I just wish those political instincts also meant that she was like good politically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, that'd be great.
So that's all very heavy stuff. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention a silly story from the McMorrow campaign, unless you had something else to say about this.
No, I was just going to say it makes her less Slotkin.
Yeah.
Like this pushes her away from Slotkin on the Slotkin scale, and that's cool.
Well, did you see the recent Slotkin clip?
No.
She was talking about these like illegal strikes that the Trump administration's been doing on like the Venezuelan boats.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, yeah, these are illegal. We should not be doing them, but you could have came to Congress and asked us for approval.
No fucking way, dude.
Her position.
You can't tell me that Rand Paul has a better take on the Venezuelan boats getting blown up than Alyssa Slotkin does.
I mean, if she dropped her CIA credentials again, she was like, I was in the CIA. I know how this goes. Like, you got to come to Congress for approval. And her position wasn't explicitly like, if you had only asked me, I would have let you do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's more nuance there, but I do think it's funny.
But it's an appeal to procedure, not an appeal to you can't just blow up people in the middle of the ocean.
It's really funny, man.
This is the moral clarity thing. Like, Rand Paul can't have more moral clarity than you. I saw a clip of Rand Paul like criticizing the Trump administration for what he's doing, saying that 25% of the boats that the Coast Guard pulls over are civilian boats. There have been 4 strikes on Venezuelan boats, so how do we know that at least one of those wasn't carrying civilians? There's no due process when it comes to this. There's no evidence that we can look at. The Trump administration is carrying this out extrajudicially. And those are the things that Rand Paul said, not me. Like, you can't let Rand Paul outflake you on, like, being moral and just and right.
Yeah.
And call yourself a Democrat. Man, Alyssa Slotkin, bro, come on, please, man. This episode of Head in the Office is brought to you by Ground News.
Media literacy is a key component of our podcast here, but spotting the biases in news and reporting, especially in our nonstop media landscape, can be hard. Thankfully, the folks over at Ground News are working to make this a lot easier.
Ground News is an app and a website that collects news from all around the world and puts it in one place so you can compare coverage, uncover political biases, and learn who is funding each publication.
Ground News has a lot of cool features, such as the bias distribution, which shows you the political leanings of the sources reporting on each story, and the blind spot tab, which highlights stories that are being missed by either the left or the right. Ground News will even tell you your own news bias based on the articles you've read on their site.
If you're interested in Ground News, you can go to check.ground.news/headintheoffice for 40% off. The link is also in the description. We would suggest taking a look at their Vantage plan to unlock all the fancy features we referenced, and subscribing to Ground News also helps out the show, which we know you all want to do.
Special thanks to Ground News for sponsoring this podcast, and back to the episode. But I would be remiss if we didn't talk about a funny aspect of the McMorrow campaign.
Okay.
This was, we talked about the AIPAC thing a couple of weeks ago. We talked about Liz Smith a couple of weeks ago. This was a story that somehow I missed.
Okay.
Because this is like peak beyond parody HITO. This is something a few years ago that we would have like thrown into a random section and been like, guys, this is crazy. But nowadays, this just doesn't even get picked up.
This is what the show's about.
So the McMorrow campaign was asked like on a donor call about outreach. Like, how are you going to do outreach to the black community? How are you going to get black voters?
Is she having a Pete Buttigieg problem?
And I think she might be having a Pete Buttigieg problem. And her campaign director, her campaign manager responded with, quote, "There are rappers that we are talking to."
Dog, you can't... That's insane. That's so I like out of touch, man.
What
like,
do you do, man?
You can't do that. Like, yeah. Oh, what do black people like? Rappers. we'll absolutely capture the black vote if we get rappers.
Yeah.
That's got to be racist.
Yeah, and then of course, like the person speaking on this call did the whole classic, like, oh, showing up matters type rhetoric, and then later on they said it was taken out of context. But it's like you can't. Your plan to reach black voters in the state of Michigan can't be we're going to talk to rappers.
Your plan
That's
to reach,
crazy.
Your
man.
plan to reach black voters can't be we're going to do stereotypes.
Just like show up to a church or something.
Yeah.
Like go to a community event or just talk to black voters. Like you don't have to like do something other than the brewery tour that she's on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just like, come on, man.
No, literally just show up to a black community. Just pull up to a majority black place. Not look for rappers. Come on.
That had to have been Liz Smith's idea. That's the most like Democrat thing I've heard.
And it's like, what rappers is she talking to? Like, she's running for a Michigan seat. Is she gonna pull up with Babytron? She can pull up.
I don't know. There is a Detroit rap scene, but like,
yeah, there is, baby. There is. There's a Detroit style and everything, but it's just like, fuck, man.
Yeah,
that's awful.
It's like so consultant brain, and I just thought I thought it was funny. Had to include it. Yeah,
no, you can't get away with that one.
But that wraps up domestic Gaza talk. I suppose we should talk briefly about this ceasefire.
Yeah, briefly. I don't have much to say about this because when I was trying to do the research about the deal that had been like kind of struck and agreed to this morning, everything was met with the caveat of the Israeli cabinet is meeting later today. And when is that later today? Right now. So I don't really know what's going on. All I know is that Israel and Hamas have agreed to at least like the first stage of the deal. They're still trying to iron out kinks with like everything else in the deal, but it looks like Hamas will be giving up all of the hostages, at least in the first stage, without getting all the assurances that they wanted, in what New York Times called a major concession, and we should expect to see the hostages released over the weekend.
Yeah.
And within 24 hours of the Israeli cabinet accepting the deal, which they're supposed to be doing fucking right now, if not like an hour or two ago, the IDF is going to be pulling back to that like border buffer zone that they agreed to.
Yeah, the thing with this is like, I am in favor of anything that will stop the act of killing, right? Like, because that is like a great moral evil that just needs to be stopped. But Israel, first of all, Israel has violated like every other ceasefire, and just continued bombing throughout those ceasefires.
Well, they were bombing today.
And yeah, exactly. And like one wonders like what happens after this, right?
Yeah.
Like the contents of the deal. And it seems to me like Gaza is just going to be put into a kind of stewardship forever and run by motherfuckers like Tony Blair and Donald Trump.
You know, it does suck, and I'm reminded of the big Biden ceasefire where that was under Biden, right? Or was that? No, that was a couple months ago.
I think there was a ceasefire under Biden that got hostages out. And then there was one under Trump too. There was one on January 19th that both Trump and Biden took credit for.
I think whichever one Trump and Biden took credit for, I guess the one on January 19th is the one that was like the 3-phase deal where they were getting hostages out, and then the second phase was going to be negotiations for the first page, which was a lasting peace, and that brought us to the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation stuff and blah 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 and whatever.
Well, and there was the one that Biden said like back in last May. He was like, "Hey, this is happening," and then he was like, "No."
He said, "No, it's not happening." I don't know what this guy's talking about. This loser over here, right? But yeah, so there was that, and then once Israel got as many hostages as they could out there, they just refused to move on to the second phase and just started bombing Gaza again. And I mean, I'm a little skeptical of any like peace that's going to happen when like intense strikes across Gaza continued on Thursday, even as the final elements of the deal were hammered out by negotiators in Egypt.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't feel very principled to me. That doesn't feel like we're coming at this in good faith. And when you've already been the actor to break ceasefires before, I'm reluctant to accept this as a complete and total victory until, I don't know, we at least see them not do more bombing.
Yeah, the thing about this deal that I've seen that really gets me is the de-radicalization component. Essentially, Israel is demanding that like the Gaza population be de-radicalized. How this exactly works is not sure. Like, I don't know, removing negative mentions of Israel from textbooks and shit like that. But there's no reciprocal component for Israeli society to de-radicalize about Palestinians. It is putting the entire onus of quote unquote de-radicalizing, whatever that means, on the Palestinian population. But Israeli society can keep talking about Palestinians the way that they always have.
I believe there was polling that came out of Israel that said that like Israeli citizens believe that Fox News is pro-Palestine. or like too liberal on Palestine.
Psychotic.
No,
dude.
that's what I'm saying. Let me find that and put that in the notes section of the description. But I'm pretty sure like the majority of Israeli society thinks that like media everywhere is biased. Media in the U.S. is biased against them, even the most right leaning stuff.
I really can't speak to like the ways in which Israeli propaganda has worked on their own citizens, right? Like we hear stories all the time from people that took like the birthright trip and then came back and are now critics of Israel, like just how much they indoctrinate their population. I can't speak to that myself, of course, because I have not lived in that world.
Yeah.
But I know that they say insane things about Palestinians all the time. And for there to not be a reflected requirement that Israel de-radicalize as well, it just shows me that it's not serious, right? Because if we were serious, we'd want to calm things down on both sides. But of course, that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah, this is from Haaretz. Even when asked about Fox News, which is identified with the American right wing, half of those polled, around 67% of voters for coalition parties, said it was biased in favor of Gazans.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah.
There needs to be a little bit of de-radicalization there as well, I think. If you
100%.
If you think that Fox News is pro-Palestinian, wowza.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. It mimics the fucking the Van Jones shit. Did you see that? The joke that he made on oh god, what's his fucking name?
I saw he had to unfollow like hot IDF girl accounts on Instagram.
Yeah, man, that'll work. That apology will work. That'll get people to forgive you.
Hell yeah.
I can't remember what it was. Bill Maher. He was on Bill Maher's show, and he was like asked why the fucking young people fuck with Palestine so much, and his answer was like TikTok keeps showing them dead babies. And he was like, I saw dead baby, dead baby, dead baby, Diddy, dead baby. That was the joke he made. That's what he said, and that's why he had to apologize. But it's like the reason that people care about Palestine in their minds is never because the shit actually is bad, but because somebody has convinced them that it's bad. And it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe seeing images of dead babies is just like a thing that people don't like because they don't like when babies are killed.
Is Van Jones like a liberal Zionist?
He was a Maoist when he was younger.
Oh.
And now he's like, I guess he's like a liberal Zionist. I think he's sold out.
Oh, me when I'm Obama with the Communist Manifesto in college.
Oh, bungler.
Maoist to liberal Zionist pipeline is insane.
Yeah, I might
wow.
have to switch up.
I might have to switch up too. Yeah. I mean, take me where the bag is.
If the money's there, man.
Take me out to the bag game. You know. What
but
I'm
anyways,
saying?
yeah, it's like with these people, it's never that people can like genuinely care about the plight of Palestinians. It's oh, you've been told to care, or oh, this is like a fad, and it's like no. People dying is bad and we fund it.
It's crazy that they only acknowledge that people can be like convinced to care about things when it's something that like they don't want them to care about. And never like that people have been convinced otherwise on immigration when there's actually like a morally right answer we could go to that would be better for society and people in general.
Well, yeah, and the premise is like, oh, if only you didn't see this, it wouldn't be a political issue for me. Well, it's like if only I could hide the truth from you. It's like, oh, well, yeah, like, obviously.
If only there was no war in Ba Sing Se.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's about all we got on the ceasefire stuff.
Yeah, that's what we got. We'll hit this harder on Monday. I just didn't want to say something that got immediately contradicted by the time this releases for the Friday freeloaders. So that's where that is.
The flotillas continue to be intercepted.
Oh, that's true.
I always forget to mention the flotillas because like everything else that happens with Israel and Gaza is like so insane and newsworthy. They're like I feel like the flotillas get overlooked, but the recent one got intercepted as well.
And before I had no idea. Like obviously I was aware of Greta Thunberg from her climate activism and whatnot. She was like Time Person of the Year when she was like, I don't know, 13 and doing all these protests and whatnot. And everyone thought she was annoying. I had no idea she was about it like this.
Yeah.
Like she's been on like all of these, hasn't she? Or at least the last like couple major ones.
Yeah, I think I read stories that like she got like tossed around too.
Yeah, she's been getting arrested by the IDF, tossed around by the IDF, and then like sent out. It's just like, wow, okay.
Braver than me.
Absolutely.
Braver than me.
I'm a man in the chair.
I am not sailing from Italy to Gaza.
No.
I'm not doing it, dude. But yeah, shout out Greta Thunberg. Shout out people that are brave enough to do that.
As soon as I get that radio message, this is an active war zone, turn around, I'm like, guys, are you sure we should be here?
Yeah, and if you don't know, the flotilla is just like a ship or a series of ships, I suppose, that sail and try to break the blockade because they're not carrying any like weapons or hazardous materials. It's all just humanitarian aid.
And the claim is that like it is an illegal blockade because Gaza should have control over its waters.
And every single time Israel intercepts the ship and does not allow any supplies to get in, it's representative of what Israel is doing, and it's bad.
The most recent flotilla was actually like pretty big because I think it had some escorts from Italy and Spain or Germany. It had escorts from Spain and some other countries, but I think they backed out when everybody got arrested because the IDF was threatening to seize everything, which is just like, yeah, that's really, what they do.
That is really what they do. It's not great. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this great, beautiful, wonderful episode.
Yes.
And it brings us to our patrons.
Yeah, hopefully we have some great, beautiful, wonderful news to talk about on Monday. Hopefully genocide over and everything works out.
Genocide over, federal government open, Medicare for all.
Medicare for all, pathway to citizenship.
Pathway to citizenship. Yeah, hopefully Trump just turns around and comes out as a lib tomorrow.
Maybe Trump could be the party of Reagan and Lincoln and do amnesty for immigrants and forgive his enemies. Maybe.
Yeah, amen. There's always time to change.
Exactly.
That never give up.
Exactly. Party of Reagan and Lincoln, Lincoln, forgave everyone in the Confederacy.
Oh, exactly.
And they were like the Democrats back then.
So true.
We should forgive the Democrats now and then stop doing NSPM 7, although this is a compliant podcast and will always be that way because those are the principles we believe in. And then let immigrants stay here because it's not worth it to do all this to kick them out.
I don't know, man. Fuck it, whatever.
Who knows? But I do know that I got to thank these wonderful people who help keep the lights on in this studio, starting with Gaden Kraut, Chris the Postman, Chrissy Beck, Mike Chaplinsky, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Caleb Joy, Rich Toro, Tari Fergalaki, Max Vasquez, Jacob Rogers, Colton Blueberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbrist, Big Burrito, Cincy Elks, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601,
huge.
Colin Cutts, Jennifer DeVille, Crawfish and Bennett Bennington III, Alexia Benatti, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maludi, Ted Cruz's Boy Toy, Dictator Dace, Luke O'Shea, Carter Tarleson, Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Aaron His Gundams, Darth Father, Taylor for Content, Corey Chambers, Retro Mondo, Veronica, aka V, Raxon, Ass Smith, The Growler, Murder in a Trench Coat, Casey Lynn Kelly, AK Ghana, Guana Don, Zach Lanston, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Rensott, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C, Anna Valitic, KCC, Sayesta West, August, Particular Pikmin, Sir Caplot, Jeff Sines, Brendan's Egg, Froggy Gundrop, Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babbles, MJ Shark, Michaela Muncie, The Wallace, 3000,
Chris T, Kishan Lala, Amanda R, Tyler J, Particulon, Memfrez, Rhonda Stiletto, Midwest Marxist, Joe the Mailman, Gary from West Michigan, Shawnee GG, Juniper Not Jupiter, Stacked Crabs, I Crowley, Urban Peach, Lord of Forlorn, Holt Farsyth, Booty Snakes, Do Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Azim Fid Hussein, Gorgeous Girl Mukes, Brooklyn G, Noverk the Dastardly, Goldthorn, Addy Book, Merlin, Cryo Bongi, Sergeant Pookie, Hoodie, Kim Kitsuragi, Rose Grimm, Kristen, Jamie the Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Seth Schmidt, Noah Sahas, Madra What, Ultra the Dragon, Mercy Boku, Dick Cheney and 6-inch Heels, Madra What, Ultra the Dragon. Oh wait, shit, I fucking lost my spot.
Damn,
Luke Wechter, Henry Kraggles, Tristan Reeksmith, Yaya Sir the Atheist, Aiden Reese, Deep State Agent, Puddle Pirate, Southern Lefty, Lark 61, KC, Cannon Man, Trey H, Rock Muffalo, Nahan San Diego, Nut Mode, Nick from New Haven, Connor Nix, Sound Logic, Sleven, I Have Never Made a Woman Orgasm, John Houston, Jordino, Haley Weibold, Pablo Vasquez, Nurse Jen, Soul DJ, Maple Big Dog, CIA Small Creators Fund, and my mom. Thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon. We couldn't do it without you.
Classic.
Feds watching.
Feds watching. Yeah, keep that in mind, everybody.
Feds watching.
Keep that in mind in your reviews as well. Feds watching.
Big on that.
Huge on that.
Feds watching.
Have a great weekend.